Welcome in, everybody, to Week 6 Buy Low, Sell High show. Stick around because we got some big names today we're going to discuss. I got 3 players drafted in the first 2 rounds of most drafts that you can buy pretty low on right now, given how they played the first part of the season. And I got some players that you may have been frustrated with to start out the season that you may be able to jump out of before it continues to go downhill. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start off. My first buy, Chase Brown for the Cincinnati Bengals. Chase Brown, 3 TDs in 2 games. And some of you may not have saw it, but Zach Moss was injured towards the end of that game against Baltimore this past week. So it could be huge for Chase Brown. He's looked more explosive than Moss. He's been eating in to Moss's workload every week. If he gets an opportunity with Moss out, look for him to kind of take over that timeshare between the two as the season rolls on. So Chase Brown, you could probably get him on the cheap right now. Maybe use one of these players that I'm going to talk about here in a bit on the sell high portion as some bait. But moving on, one of the first big names I'm going to talk about, De'Von Achane. De'Von Achane has been extremely disappointing the last 3 weeks. Tua going down with a concussion has completely destroyed this Miami Dolphins offense. All the way across. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, De'Von Achane. None of them looked good at all over the past few weeks. But Tua is out till week 8. They have a bye this week, and then they come back out of their bye against Indianapolis. Tyler Huntley could look really good against Indianapolis. Indianapolis' defense and their secondary has been awful. De'Von Achane could have a bounce-back game again in that game, even with Huntley at QB. First 2 weeks out of the gate with Tua, he finished RB7 and RB3. He's got a juicy schedule coming up after bye week to finish out the season. And like I said, Tua is expected back week 8. Mostert being back in the lineup as well they may go back to more of a split. However, Mostert's going to take a lot of those inside carries that Achane's been taking. Maybe they get back to getting Achane back out into space. You'll see that more explosive side of him a little bit. You'll get those bigger games. So look for De'Von Achane. Try to get him cheap while he's struggling on his bye week. Look for one of these teams that's 1-4, 2-3, 0-5 even. Looking to try to make a move because now's their time to make a move. Otherwise, they're out for the season. So look to try to grab one of them. Next up, another big name drafted in the first round of most drafts, sometimes first RB off the board, Breece Hall. I am huge on trying to buy Breece Hall right now. Fired Robert Saleh today. They hired another interim defensive-minded head coach. However, if this coach has the buy-in of the locker room, then you're going to see a better result from Breece Hall going forward, I believe. Last 2 weeks, really, really struggled. Looked bad. Braylon Allen's been getting more carries. However, they played Denver in terrible weather. Denver's one of the top defenses in the league right now. And they played Minnesota, another top defense in the league, and struggled both games. So that was to be expected. But the first 3 weeks, people are already forgetting. You have the recency bias. RB15 first week, RB4 second week, RB12 the third week. Schedule going forward for Jets running backs is a gold mine. Breece Hall could be a winner going down the stretch. And if they add Davante Adams to this offense, there's not going to be unless they trade Garrett Wilson, there's not going to be a team in the league that can stack the boxes against the Jets. So Breece Hall could be league winner. You could get him for pretty cheap if you have a frustrated Breece Hall owner in your league. So get out there, try to get him. And the final buy low I'm going to discuss today is another big name first round running back, but Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson has, I don't want to say looked bad, but just in general, the run game for the Atlanta Falcons still has not made sense. But he's averaging over 5 yards a carry still, which beyond 1 week. 1 week he struggled right around 2 yards a carry. But his schedule, the first 5 weeks of the season, he's played Pitt, Philadelphia, Kansas City, New Orleans, and then Tampa Bay. A lot of those have either had to be turned into close games to where they've turned to the pass, and some of them are just tough defenses in general. So take that into account. And then he had a hamstring injury, and he played Tampa on a short week. So even though it was his easier matchup, he played him on a short week coming off a hamstring issue. He's going to have over a full week to kind of try to get that thing together and get back on board. And then he's got an easier schedule over the next few weeks. Carolina, Seattle, Tampa again, and then Dallas, who's been absolutely gashed through the run over the past few weeks. But those are my buy lows. Big names, try to grab them. Frustrated owners, I'm sure there's some out there, and see if you can get them on the cheap. We're gonna get into ourselves. Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Mark Andrews, 4 receptions for 55 yards this past week. Maybe you can get somebody to bite on the fact that we could be seeing a bounce back from Mark Andrews, that we could be seeing the old Mark Andrews starting to come out. See if you can get somebody to bite on that and get rid of him now, because I don't think this is changing. I think it was just a matchup that worked out for Mark Andrews, but you're not going to see prime Mark Andrews this year. I do not believe it. Likely 2 TDs this past week, but was out targeted by the tight end 3 and the offense. So I don't see the tight ends gaining steam on this team. It was really exciting with Likely starting out with a huge game week 1, but it has been nothing but downhill since. So if you can get out from under these guys now while they had a halfway decent game, then try to do so, because who knows how many chances you're going to get before the trade deadline in your league. Next up, Christian Kirk. Last 3 weeks, he's gone for 8 for 79, 7 for 61, 4 for 88, and I believe he has a touchdown in there. I can't remember off the top of my head. But Brian Thomas is a star. The dude has been balling out, and I believe you're seeing the new number 1 on this offense. And then we have not seen Evan Ingram. A lot of people are starting to forget Evan Ingram is on this team. Christian Kirk has been the target hog over. I know he was last year, but it won't be anymore. Brian Thomas is the alpha on this roster, and Evan Ingram will take more targets away from Christian Kirk than Thomas already is. So get out of Christian Kirk if you can. Try to get halfway decent player, maybe the Chase Brown, package him with something a little bit smaller and get Chase Brown or one of those other running backs. Moving on, we got another tight end, Kyle Pitts. The struggle has been real since he's come into this league. I have him on a dynasty league. I've been holding them, hoping. When they signed Kirk Cousins, it was super exciting, but it hasn't made anything different. Cousins threw 58 times against Tampa Bay this past week. Pitts got 8 of those targets. He was out-targeted by Ray McCloud. So he was 4th in targets on the team this past week. Yes, he had the big catch. 7, and he went 7 receptions on 8 targets for 88 yards and a touchdown. This may be your chance to get out from under Pitts, try to find a better option, and move on, because I don't 8 targets and being out targeted by Rayburn McLeod is a problem. I don't see better days ahead for Pitts because they're not going to throw 58 times every week. And last but not least on the sell targets or sell candidates is Michael Pittman. Picked up some steam with Flacco, looked like what everybody drafted him to be, but Anthony Richardson will be back, and we will go right back to what we had before Richardson went down. Richardson struggles throwing the ball, and Josh Downs is now healthy and back in the lineup, and they haven't really played a whole lot together, Richardson and Downs. So expect Downs to take quite a few targets, and Richardson spreads the ball around quite a bit. So I think it just limits Pittman's upside. He's had some solid games with Flacco. So if you can trade him, great. But make sure when you're selling these guys, sell them for all you can get. Don't let somebody underbuy what you're given. So, but that's what I got. Make sure you hit that subscribe button in the bottom corner, and shoot us a comment. Let us know what you would think about the players that we put on here for buy sell, and some candidates that you're looking at buying and selling this week. And we will catch you guys tomorrow for the weekly stash episode.